Am I the a-hole for selling my house to get rid of my stepchildren? My wife passed away in November of 2022. She left me 3 adult stepchildren who have all been very clear that I am not their parent despite being in their lives for over 10 years. Their father has retired to the Philippines. They are 21, 22, and 25. Their mother and I have been helping them out with a place to live because our city is very high cost of living. The youngest is in school still, but the other 2 are employed. After their mother passed away, they stopped doing anything around the house. We had been charging no rent so they could save money. The older 2 were responsible for their own bills other than that. I paid power, water, internet, all the utilities. We even provided food for the youngest. Now they do nothing to help around the house. I have had to hire a cleaning lady to help. It's stupid, so I put the house up for sale. The price has gone up so much since I bought it that I could retire to the Philippines if that was my thing. It took no time at all to sell, and I'm moving out to my cabin. I gave each kid $10,000 and told them that the house was sold. They aren't idiots. They had seen the for sale sign and been around for the open houses. Now they're getting upset with me for throwing them out of their home. I guess they did some of their growing up there, but they never treated it like much more than a place to sleep. I think that their mom would be disgusted with how they treated me and our home. They pulled their money and got an apartment, but if they count on only the money I gave them, they will have nothing in a year. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. You're a saint for giving them 10K each, not the a-hole. I wasn't going to toss them in the street or anything. I've known them all for 10 years. Raise your hand if your parents gave you $10,000 when you moved out. No hands? You separated from leeches, not the a-hole. Right? I joined the Marine Corps and left with the cloths on my back. That was it. Navy at 18. 2 years later, I'm operating a nuclear power plant. Time for them to grow up. Not the a-hole. They were disrespectful to you and your home, and you weren't obligated to continue providing for them, especially after they became adults. You were already not the a-hole even before I got to the part where you gave them each $10,000. That's a whole heck of a lot more generous than I would have been. When they stopped doing anything around the house after their mother passed, they were showing you, we only did that for our mom and she's not here now, so screw you, OP. They are grown adults and not your responsibility, even if they were your bio kids. I know a man who sold his house when his wife passed to get his own bio adult kids out. They were in their 40s, and he didn't give them any money. He told them they had decades to save, and if they didn't, that's on them. Move to your cabin and relax. Look at the $10,000 each as a last gift you gave them for their mother. They will learn to stand on their own feet, and if they don't, they are not your responsibility. Next story. Am I the a-hole for cashing out, enjoying life, and not giving anything to my daughter? I, female 57, lost my husband of 25 years last year. We have a daughter, female 24, who's married for 2 years. My son passed away after her marriage, and it has been hell ever since. Our relationship with daughter was very good and without any incidents before her marriage. She was sweet and loving and was a great daughter overall. She got married to the man of her choice. After that, it has all been downhill. She stopped coming to our house, stopped responding to our texts and calls, going almost no contact. We weren't rich. Although my husband had a lot of assets, they haven't been liquidated. When he died, he didn't leave a will because it was so unexpected. After his death, my dear daughter didn't even attend his funeral, nor in any other functions. She didn't even call to ask how I was. Barely 6 months after my hubby's passing, she and son-in-law barged into our house and brought with them a lawyer who told me to sign on some documents in a blank sheet. I know the legal processes and I'm not ignorant. I asked her what was in that document. I don't know what I did, but here she was, demanding me to sign some unknown docs in a blank sheet and not answering any questions. I asked the lawyer what it was about. He said it was for transferring all the assets in her and son-in-law's name. I said no, and here is when it got violent. She attacked me, and I had to scream for help. I didn't call the cops, but told her to get out before I did. She was adamant about me signing and tried to take my thumb impression. At this point, my neighbors had come over and had witnessed pretty much the last part of forcing. My neighbor, bless his heart, physically kicked them out. After this, I was shaken and very hurt. I don't know what I did, and I was honestly scared for my life. She kept sending me messages, though not threatening, because maybe her lawyer told her so. She kept on sending sweet messages, thanking me for making her the beneficiary, transferring all assets to her, etc. I was disgusted. A week of harassment later, I decided I had enough. I wanted out. So I met my lawyer. He said since there was no will, I was the sole owner of all assets and could do as I wish. Long story short, I sold everything, made 8 figures, bought a new house in a place that I always wanted to be, far from everyone. Now I plan to enjoy the rest of my life traveling and generally doing things I haven't been able to do but which I've always wanted to do. I recently heard through the gossip vine that my daughter tried to start litigation against me shortly after I sold and left, but it fell through, as everything was in my name now. She now wants to meet me and is pressuring her lackeys to contact me and make me meet her. I said no. I don't understand why she did that, because it was all going to be hers anyway. They don't know where I am presently, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. I'm no contact with her and son-in-law. I don't have social media except Reddit. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Amount is not in dollars. If converted, it would come around lower 7 figures. No, I'm not from the US and English is not my first language. Not a-hole. Suggest you leave all your money to a refuge for abused women. As for your daughter, she can whistle. I'm thinking of doing that. It's too much money for me to spend. I'd probably do whatever I want, then donate it or open an old age home and leave it all there. Please report that lawyer to his office and the bar association. OP, listen to this comment. The lawyer not only witnessed you get assaulted, they try to get your signature under duress, which is a huge no-no. Then, after witnessing this, was seemingly okay with his client directly contacting you trying to fabricate a paper trail. Assuming he was even a real lawyer. Please get your lawyer to prepare a will for you and all the relevant powers of attorney. Make it very clear in the will your daughter is not inheriting anything and why, and name who your beneficiaries are. And a living will as well. OP should not want her daughter and sharkish son-in-law to make decisions for her in her old age. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my ex's daughter live with us? My ex and I are divorcing. My daughter, 17, and I are in the process of moving our stuff into our new place. I got one of those moving pods that's out to the front of the old house. My stepdaughter, 15, started moving her stuff out to it. I told her to stop. At first, I thought she was confused and thought it was for her and her mom's stuff. The plan was for them to move back to my ex's home state. My stepdaughter wasn't confused about that though. She thought for some reason that she could move with me and my daughter to our new house in town. So we got into a whole discussion about it. My ex was involved. Turns out her daughter is very upset about having to move because she doesn't want to leave her friends, her school, and go to a place that is so backwards. After talking, my ex said she understood where she was coming from and asked me to let her live with us at least during school year. First off, I think it would be weird for her to live with us since her mom and I aren't married anymore. It makes more sense for her to go live where both her parents are. Logistically, it also presents an issue because our new place is smaller than this one, so she would have to share a bedroom with my daughter. I know my daughter would hate that, so it doesn't seem fair to force that on her. Edit, because people keep asking. We got married about 6 years ago. My ex did also say she would pay for expenses. Please stop suggesting I get a bigger place. I just bought our new place. I am not selling it and getting a different place. Now for the comments. Not a-hole. Where did she get the idea that somehow she was moving in with you? It's more that she thought it was an option. Her mom told her they were moving back to her home state. That means she views you as a parental figure, or at least a trusted caretaker. Don't be harsh with her for that. Not saying you should let her stay, but be kind about it. I wasn't harsh about it. Not a-hole. This is an issue her parents need to deal with, not a non-custodial unrelated former step-parent. Her parents are the a-holes for not telling her before it got to this. What kind of parents will wait till moving to discuss this? Like WTF? Who put it into the child's head that this was even an option? Sounds like Mayo mom and dad are okay with pawning their daughter off an ex-step family. This is so weird. I would never be okay with this as a mother. Sigh. Mine. Me, my brother and sister didn't know my parents were divorcing until moving day when me, my brother and mom moved to one apartment and my dad and sister moved to another. I'm so sorry. That must have been so traumatic for you all. It was, and my parents barely acknowledged it. It was just like, this is how things are going to be now. Next story. Am I the a-hole for going back on my word to help support my husband's affair baby? I found out, female 42, that my husband, male 44, was cheating on me with a girl, female 25, he found on Tinder. He made himself out to be a rich guy, but actually he works for my father. When I found out, I asked for divorce. I found out that the girl was pregnant. She told me that she didn't know he was married, blah blah. I believed her, and I felt sorry for her because she doesn't have any money. I have 2 children, so I thought her baby was my children's sibling. I said that I would take care of them. Then I stumbled across all the texts between them, and actually she knew very early on that he was married, and she even stalked me in social media. He told her from the start that he was married and only wanted fun. She wanted more, and that's how I found out. Now I feel immense hatred and resentment towards her and her baby, and I don't want to help her anymore. I liked her, and she fooled me. But she only used me. I told her that I wasn't going to be helping her and wished her good luck. My husband will still have okay salary at his new work, and from what I understood, he is planning to have custody or at least shared custody of his child, so the baby will not be suffering, but just not rich. I asked her to not contact me again. She is raging about me taking back my promise and gathering lots of sympathy, and I don't know. I know the baby is innocent in this, but I feel resentful and bitter like I have been used twice. I am very sorry, but no. Not the a-hole. She cheated with her husband, caused your divorce in part, and then lied and manipulated you for money. Pretty rich that she now wants you to keep your word, which was given under false pretenses. She and her baby are not your responsibility, and you shouldn't support them because she tricked you into giving her the benefit of the doubt. Your husband probably coached her in order to maintain access to your money. My husband is the one who showed me the texts. So tell her that a promise was made under false pretenses, and she was after your money from the start. Didn't get rich man, but could go after a rich wife. You don't have to honor your promises to a lying gold digger who broke your family. You can even post the screenshots of her messages or send them to people questioning your dignity. You can also volunteer these people to take care of the baby if they think that strangers owe something to that lady. Not your husband, not your baby, so not your problem. That's basically what I've felt, even if it meant that I went back to my promise. You would have never been the a-hole, even if you said no to helping from the beginning. Definitely not the a-hole now. Last story. Am I the a-hole for listing lack of family support as one of the many reasons that I wasn't open to having a third baby? My husband and I had our son knowing that we wouldn't receive much or any family support. My father-in-law is ill, so that takes up my mother-in-law's energy, and his siblings are child-free and not really interested in kids. My family lives far away, and I never expected or received any help with babysitting, etc., except on the rare occasions that my parents come out to visit and give us a date night. Yes, it would be amazing if my husband's family was more involved, but I never thought anyone owed us any babysitting, and we made a choice to have kids with our eyes wide open. My husband's sister has offered to take our son a couple of times to give us a break, but ultimately flaked each time. At this point, I'm not really sure that I'd be comfortable leaving my son with her anyway, so it's not something I've pursued. I'm currently pregnant with our second son, and we told the in-laws we were having another boy during a family gathering. Everyone congratulated us, but kept asking if we were disappointed that we were having a girl. I repeatedly said no. I loved my son and was happy to have another boy, but they wouldn't drop the subject. And his sister kept hounding me about when we would be trying for the third so we could give the family a girl. I told her there wouldn't be a third since we were planning to stop at 2 kids. But she kept pursuing the topic 3 is better than 2, and you don't know what you'd be missing out to not having a daughter. I found this annoying because 1, my sister-in-law has no kids and is child-free by choice. And 2, nobody in the family pays much attention to the child we already have, so I'm not sure why they're so concerned about it either way. Sister-in-law kept hounding me, and I told her that it would be difficult for us to have 43rd kid with daycare costs, limited family support, a small home, 2 working parents, etc. I didn't emphasize the family piece, but it was one of several reasons that I rattled off to explain our decision. She eventually dropped it, but texted me later that night to say that she felt targeted, since I knew that she wanted to babysit all those times, but something always came up. I said that was fine. My decision about the size of our family had nothing to do with her, and I never expected her to babysit, so I wasn't upset about it. Apparently, that response ticked her off even more, because now she's telling my mother-in-law and husband that I don't think she's a good aunt, and that's not a good reason to deprive the family of a girl. My husband says not to worry about it, and that's just how she is. But I probably shouldn't have mentioned family support if I didn't want to fight about it. You're currently pregnant and they are already demanding you create another human? What the heck is wrong with them? Not the a-hole. I know, right? They had/are having 2 kids, with equal chance of having a boy or girl. Why is it now her job to keep having children to get one of the required gender? Especially coming from someone who has little interest in the nephew she already has. Especially with no guarantee that the 3rd would be a girl. I guess she's just supposed to keep having them until she gets that girl. I once worked with a woman who has 4 sons, and yes, they were hoping for a girl, 3rd and 4th time. My childhood church had a lady with 5 boys, tried again for a girl and got twin boys. She gave up at that point and waited for daughter-in-laws. Not the a-hole. If she wants the family to have a girl, then she would have it. Sounds like there is something going on. Maybe she does want kids, but something is preventing that. I don't know. I've considered the same thing, but she talks a lot about not wanting kids because she wants to focus on her career and pursue her own interests. Her and her husband travel a lot and have a nice lifestyle, so I've always assumed it was a choice based on their own statements. Yeah, it could be, but she seems to be getting a bit weird about it if that's the case. It just gives me vibes, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, sounds like it could be rationalizing to me. Still, not that it's anyone's business if she doesn't choose to share it, but you never know what's going on in someone's head, even if the opposite is coming out of their mouth.